Hello, this is the Road Glide Rider, and I got something else I'm going to do with my Harley. It's for the hot winter months coming up during summertime, and that is I'm going to add Harley-Davidson Coolflow Fan. Now, there are 4 different kinds of Coolflow Fan models to get, depending on the model you have, and I've got mine situated similar to a Limited, so it's got the wings on it. It's got the switch already because I already got the fog lights put on, which you've seen on the earlier videos. So it comes with this, and it comes with the fan and the wind deflector already built into it. So it depends on you, the model you got, depends on the fan you get. Like I said, there's 4 different kinds. One that comes with just a fan. Then it's got just a switch, I guess, for the Road King. You got the kind that, like mine, that if you have a Limited, it already has a switch in it and everything else. It's got the wind deflectors on it. It's just a fan and that. And then, of course, then you have the model that has the fan. I'll show you a picture later. Anyway, I'm going to go ahead and get mine set up to put it on. And we'll show you how easy it is to do yourself. Now, you will end up having to go with dealer to have it activated because it's the way it's set up on the 2017 and later. It's set up so it can be automatic or turn on, turn off. Automatic means that, of course, it's got the head temperature sensor and the atmosphere temperature sensor and the speed sensor, so it won't come on unless you're doing 35 or lower. Then its temperatures have to be above a certain amount for it to come on automatically. And of course, if you have the earlier 2016 and earlier, it has a switch just on and off is all it is. But the instructions, go to the Harley webpage and look at the instructions. It'll tell you more about it for different models other than what I got. So I'm going to go ahead and get mine set up to put it in. So let's get to it. Of course, inside the package comes stuff you need, the fan. Now, mine, of course, has the wind deflector. I have to change that because that is slightly different than the one comes for use without the fan. It's got a little cutout in the bottom to help the air flow better. Of course, why? Now, that little hose, it's a cover that goes on the oil line that comes from the rear cylinder to help protect it. So make sure you follow the instructions to put that on there. Of course, the instructions are right there. So let's get to work on it. Of course, mine has just the switch because I already got the housing of the switch already. So let's get that switch on, and I'll show you how to do that. Now, this is the 4 different Coolflow fans you can get. The one in the upper left is the one that I got because I had the switch already installed for my spot fog lights, and I had wind deflectors already. All I needed was the switch and the new shortened wind deflector. The other that they recommended for my Road Glide standard is the lower left, which has the switch and the fan. Of course, it comes with the instructions like I showed with the extra harness and all the other stuff. This is just what you want in the picture. Now, the one on the lower right is what you get if you have the Road King. It's got a separate switch you install instead of having the switches in the fairing like ours is, like in Street Glide and Road Glide has. It's got a switch to put in the headlight nacelle. And of course, the one on the top, I'm not sure. I looked it up. Looks like that's just the fan. I guess that's for the earlier models that don't have all the extra stuff that you want to put the fan on. But it covers stuff that I'm sure that they cover in the instructions for the earlier models. Anyway, that's the 4 different kinds. Choose the one you get. The fan itself is exactly the same in every option, every package you get. What's different is the options that come with it. So that's what I had. Now, of course, I have the spotlights already in there, and I have the switch assembly itself. So I just got to put this in there. So we'll take this off and we'll put this in the housing. And of course, you do that, you pull this out. You have to take this whole switch off, pull this out, 2 screws on each side, 25 Torx, and this whole thing will pull off. And just unplug it and it's good to go. As you can see right here, that's the plug you need to unplug. And like I said, there's small plugs on each side. Now the one on this side, the catch is underneath it, so you might have more trouble getting that one off. But you'll get them off. They're easy to get off. If you have to, just unscrew the screws that hold the dummy in there, and you unplug that. That's T25 also. Just unplug it, and it's good to go. Now, once you have it off, of course, this is the blank side over here. This is the switch side. You take this off, 2 25 Torx screws, and this will come right out. Now, everybody always worries about how to change switches, take the blanks out, and put the switches in. You see, there's 2, 3 little silver tabs right here. You pull this out. Just don't pull it all the way out. Just pull out. It pulls a small out. It releases this, and you put the new switch in there, pushed in, and it's good to go. So let's get to it. Now, if you look, I just barely pulled that out, and the dummy came right out. Now, my kit came with the individual switch for the fan. Like I said, if you get the other kit, it comes with the switch harness already, and this switch is already in it. Now, I'm going to go ahead and put this in. Now, I inserted the switch in here. Now, really doesn't show you which side goes in first, but if you look at the bottom of the switch, there's a little clear piece. Looks like it's for a light to come through. That goes on this side right here. And of course, then just slides right back in there. And of course, it's back in there. So we have my switches for the lights and switches for the fan. Now, let's get the fan installed. Now, one of the things about it that says be taking the battery out is you need to pull the main fuse. Main fuse is right here. And the way you do that to make sure, especially if you have an alarm system, is you turn the ignition on, wait for the alarm to disarm, then turn it off immediately, and before the alarm arms again, you pull the main fuse out. This way, it won't be trying to go off while everything else is going on, and your audio alarm will be beep, beep, beeping because it doesn't require power from the bike. So I got mine out, and I'm fixing to pull the battery out. You have to pull the holder and the ECM back out of the way to give you complete access to the battery. Disconnect your positive first, negative, and then, of course, you can pull it out, and that gets the battery out because you have to have room to get in to put the wind deflector in. So let's get to it. Now, to get your battery out, the manual says it's got a little strap that wraps around behind the battery. You pull it and it pulls the battery out. But mine's 2001, and guess what? The little strap was cut. Here it is right here. It was all cut and everything else. So what I did, of course, using the screws, put them in the top. I was able to lift it out using the screws. So that's one way to get it out. So now we got it out. We can get to the back of here so we can put the wind deflector in, and also the plugs, and put the screws in to mount the fan. So let's go look at the instructions. It'll show you where the screws are, and we'll get them in there. Now, once you get everything off, this is the wiring plug for the fan. Of course, I had to pull the wind deflector off, and they go in these holes here. That was for the wind deflector. It's out head right there, right there. That's why you have to have the battery out so you can get to it. Because you can't get to the back. Because they are little Allen screws. I put a little blue Loctite on them to hold them on. So let's get the plug out and see if we can get in there. Now that I've got the protective cover on there, it says rotate this so it gets plenty of clearance to the fan. And this is 1 inch, about 1 inch from the end of it. And there it is. Now, the hose was really tough to get off because heat had caused the rubber to stick to the cap. And I ended up having to really kind of get it out of there. And I actually cut a little piece of the end of it off in order to get it out of there. And of course, there's plenty of hose there. It's the first time been done, and it stretches perfectly. And of course, here is the plug. I took the cover off. I kept the cover on the plug so I didn't lose the plug. Now, it says to put the fan on before you do this. No. Do this before you try to put the fan on there. That way you got plenty of room to work. So now I'm going to bolt the fan on and plug it up. One thing about it is when you pull this line off, oil is going to drip out. So my advice, put some rags down here to catch the oil. It's just a little bit dribble out, but it's better to catch it in a rag than to have to wash the bike and wash all the oil off the inside of the bike. Okay, here we go. Now I've got the fan installed, bolted in. I got this down. Now one thing I discovered, it says put this on before you put the fan on. That's because it's got a bolt down here on the bottom that's got to be in before you get it. I just tighten them down, and I tighten this bolt up here in the top, and I have this wedge down here. I didn't put the bolt in there, but that's up to you. It's what I did. Now, the instructions call for this additional wiring harness. Now, if you look at the instructions, they talk about, let me find it. They talk about wiring it in if you have more stuff running off that switch. All I'm gonna have is that fan. So I'm not even gonna put it in. Now I gotta put the battery back in to test it and see what it does. But I have to take it to the dealer to have the fan activated so it'll be automatic and everything else. So let me put the battery in, see if it'll turn on by itself. Now, one thing I did discover is even though the instructions say that that harness, which is the extra harness right there, is optional, I have the accessory switches installed on mine, so I have to put that harness in with the rest of it. So that's why it's important to know the instructions and know what you have. Well, I've got it installed, and I checked it, and it doesn't come on with the switch yet, so I got to take it to the dealer to get it checked and have the fan activated and stuff. So as soon as I do that, we'll finish this video up. Now that I have the fan activated, it really comes in handy because you can see what it does. See, you push the button down, see, fan, that's automatic. Of course, you press it again. Fan is off. Fan is on. Fan is automatic, or automatic, I guess it's called. That means that the fan will come on when certain conditions are met. Of course, mine's a 2021, which means that the conditions to meet are speed, cylinder temperature, and ambient temperature. Of course, I can tell you right now that it works great because this fan is really, really nice. I got caught in bumper-to-bumper stop-and-go traffic in Oklahoma City in the daytime in August, and it was really hot. Now, they sell those fans that are used to blow across the cylinders to cool the motor off. The motor Harley designed these really well. They're designed to run hot if they have to. This is for the rider comfort. It makes the rider nice. It sucks that hot air and blows it down off you. So if you have any of the touring models, you can see this right here. I scratched the paint. I gotta fix that. But if you have any of the touring models, my recommendation is get the Coolflow Fan. It is very, very well worth it, and it works stupendously. So, this is the Road Glide Rider, and if you want to be more comfortable when you're doing your rides and it's nice and hot outside, get the Coolflow Fan. So if you like my videos, please like them, enjoyed it, hit the like button, that helps the YouTube algorithm. Says people enjoy what they say. Let more people to see it. Share my video with other people. Tell them about it. And subscribe to my videos. That way you can find out when I'm going to have more coming out. I got a couple more things I'm going to do to my Road Glide. I think I'm going to start doing a few of my ride videos too, because